Oh, we're doing an episode of Candace.
All right, you guys, let's
Who ordered the hit on Charlie? Okay, she's certain now that it is a hit. It was a contracted hit. That was a amateur assassin.
actually start today's episode with a game.
Absolute
the feds like to play games. Let's play a game. And this is one that everybody can join in on, okay? Doesn't matter how old or young you are. I want you to grab your cell phone and I want you to go to your text messages and search for certain terms, okay, that you just use when you speak to your friends. Terms that were just casually tossed into a conversation, the alleged conversation held between the 22-year-old alleged killer of Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, and his 22-year-old boyfriend, Lance Twig.
Dude, he's an autistic gay guy. Like, he's an autistic, mentally ill gay dude, okay? The way he texted makes sense. You're black. Like, you don't know.
Okay. The first term I want you to search is retrieve. Yeah, look it up. When is the last time that you used the word retrieve between you and a friend? Retrieve. I'm going to retrieve something. I played this game with my entire staff, and I was able to find, since dating back for the last 3 years, 2 messages where someone used that term. The first person was somebody that was former military, and the second person was a cop. Makes sense. Okay, we're not done playing this game. Second term that I want you to look for in your phone.
Okay, that one's, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, that one's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay, true.
Is vehicle. Vehicle. Well, I mean, what pops up for you? Is that something that you say? I'm just gonna go outside to my vehicle. I left something in my vehicle. I'll be right back. I parked my vehicle outside. I don't remember where I parked my vehicle. What's popping up for you? Oh, probably literally nothing. Maybe something related to the DMV. That's what came up for me. Things about the DMV. I think for Skylar, something came up for his car wash. Your vehicle is ready. Sounds pretty professional. I don't know what to tell you guys, though, because what they're telling us is that is just the way the 22-year-olds are speaking these days. Apparently, they just shoot the breeze.
I have dozens of messages with vehicle. All right. Autistic people
with one another, and they say vehicle and retrieve.
Autistic people, tab in. What do we think? Crazy. Wait, what? Nick just telegrammed. It's crazy how I never once. The Israel murdered Charlie Kirk, but the Zionists are all repeating that without a shred of evidence. Remember, if they aren't lying, they aren't dude, she literally does that every single time.
And if you...
Wasn't I just saying that she does that yesterday? I swear, literally just yesterday while we were watching, she was talking about how she had said, like, I was tweeting about how genocide's not okay. And all these people just automatically assume I'm talking about Israel. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Oh my gosh. What's wrong with you? Like, while that's what everyone's saying, while that's what everyone is talking about, she says, I just don't think a genocide's ever okay. And then everyone starts talking to me like I'm talking about Israel. Did I say Israel? You're so dumb.
You don't believe me, then good. You shouldn't believe that. You shouldn't believe me when I say that. So welcome back to Candace.
I need more chicken. I need more chicken for this, dude.
I love vehicles, love fast vehicles. I'm a big vehicle person, said nobody ever. The text messages that were released yesterday in the indictment of Tyler Robinson make perfect sense if you don't think about them at all. Like, literally, if you suspend all reason, all rationality, then they can make perfect sense. That's the only way. You just have to stop thinking. You got to get to that point where you're like, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? no, to be fair. Now we are more broadly considering how stupid the feds believe that we are. And the frankly obnoxious messages that someone strung together must clearly be for either our or their own entertainment. So I want to hyper-focus on those. I want to actually hyper-focus on what exactly is wrong with these text messages between Lance and Tyler. Now, first and foremost, the obvious thing, there's no timestamps. Right away, major red flag. Very easy to say he sent the first message at this time. It's a part of your investigation, right? Everybody is on edge globally wanting to know what happened, and they just remove that. But don't worry, you guys, because like I told you, one of the things that me and Charlie always believed in was that we could work harder. And I got to tell you, these devils are working pretty hard, but we can work harder than them, okay? And I decided to go back and on the basis of what Tyler Robinson allegedly writes to his lover, I decided I could work them into the timeline. I could work out an approximate timeline, at least for us to look at visually for when they had to have been sent on the basis of what he's saying, right? Because he says certain things that were not revealed to the public at a certain time. So we're going to do that. I also want to point out the fact that the language, which many people said online, somebody actually left a very funny comment. It's like borderline poetic. He's got commas in there. It's like perfect English. And that's actually a striking contrast compared to what's inscribed on the casings, right? He goes through all of these memes that he's written, and I'm not hip to the lingo. Okay, you got to be real deep internet and hip, but for whatever reason, when he's writing these messages, he's very proper, extremely proper, right? What really wants to make sure he gets the punctuation correct. Anyways, let's just dive right back into the timeline. Let's dive right back into this conversation. And we're at first going to focus on the third message. And don't forget, just to lead up into this, they are telling us that at no time that we're allowed to know on September 10th, after Charlie Kirk was shot, the roommate, that's Lance, received a text message from Robinson, which said, "Drop what you are doing, look under my keyboard." And so Lance, I don't know what he does all day, but he can do that. He knows he's home. And Lance then runs, I'm saying he ran, prances, who knows, and looks, and he sees this note. And to be clear, we're never going to be able to see that note because the feds have since told us that the note was destroyed. But even though he destroyed the note, he took a picture of it. Yeah, that makes sense, because if you're going to destroy something, the best thing to do is to take a picture of it. And the feds saw the picture, but we're not going to be able to see either. Anyways, don't think about it if you want it to make sense. Then we find out that Lance, I guess, decided to take a picture and then text Tyler back. And here is where he asks him, Lance says, "Tyler, what? You're joking, right?" Because, the note said, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it." So Lance is like, "What? You're joking." And Robinson says to him, Tyler says, "I'm still okay, my love, but I am stuck in Orem." That's the town, okay, that UVU is at. "For a little while longer yet." So poetic. A little while longer yet. I'm going to look that up on my phone later. "It shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you." Now, I want to jump to this next message because it gives us a timeline. He says to him, I assume right away, Lance says, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" And Robinson says, "I am. I'm sorry." And the roommate says, "I thought they caught the person." Okay. And Robinson responds, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Okay, so that lets us actually be able to drop that into the timeline pretty simply. Why? Because we know, and we can pull up this timeline, that
I was ripping out the parts I want and putting the chicken away.
Referencing some crazy old dude. And
am I missing good parts of this?
Skylar, if you want to pull that up so we can go through it. What time Charlie gets shot at 12:23 p.m. Scroll down a bit. George Zinn, we learn about 30 minutes after that, George Zinn, the decoy boy, that's when it's announced that he's a suspect in custody by the Utah police. But it's not until, by the way, 5:30 p.m., because he mentions that second suspect, and he curiously says in that correspondence that he's wearing similar clothing, which I find to be strange. We don't know what that second suspect is wearing until 5:30 p.m., when Governor Cox, 12 minutes into a press conference, the press conference began at 5:30 p.m., mentions that the second suspect, who is a person of interest, is wearing all dark clothing. So the earliest that message could have been sent out is after 5:30 p.m. I think it's unlikely, because I think, again, this is all made up, these messages, because he says wearing similar clothing. Okay, he tells us dark clothing. What's similar about that? This guy allegedly, when he did this, was wearing black jeans. I was wearing, dark jeans and a black shirt. So that's like everyone on campus, okay? Nobody in the press conference says, we picked him up because he was wearing something similar to the shooter. So that language right there is actually a mistake from the feds. But again, it allows us to be able to plot it into the timeline. So that's good. Okay. Timeline is back up here. And we then know Kash Patel tweets that the subject in custody has been released. Our investigation continues. That was a mistake. The guy in the darker clothing, we don't know who that is. And then it's after, again, like I said, that these correspondences then had to take place. So we're talking about late in the evening, okay, 6 hours on. I'm wondering what it is that Tyler Robinson is doing throughout this entire time. Skylar, you can keep this up because I want to keep scrolling, okay? What he's doing throughout this entire time, because that's a very long time for him to be just around campus. But then luckily, he's going to let us know what he's doing, right? He's going to jump right in here, and he's telling us that he's close to the scene. We know in this conversation.
I put it all away. Did I miss anything? Did I miss any good part of this? Sorry, I got my chicken now too.
And he then says to Lance,
what was Tyler Russell doing this entire time? Only federal employees say retrieve. No, I didn't miss anything. Okay, all right.
That he's looking to get that rifle, right? He says, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring it back. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's actually go earlier. He then tells us his alibi, which is amazing, right?
And the word retrieved, that's a little bit sus. And saying vehicle is slightly sus. Because that is, to be fair, that is shit that cops would say. Like that, to be totally fair, that is what cops would say.
He's saying, I'm lingering around there. I'm trying to get the vehicle. And then, of course, as you always do when you're trying to clean up things, you then spell out.
Also, who says my old man? That part's not that hard to believe.
Out your alibi, right? Lance asks him, why did you do this? And Robinson says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate cannot be negotiated
boomer,
out
though.
if I am able to grab my rifle unseen. Like, I'm trying to clean up the scene, but also I'm telling you exactly what my motive is here. I will have left no evidence. I'm going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Okay, so we are now late in the evening. He's still hanging around. The roommate then comes and says, how long have you been planning this? He says, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it. Still trying to get close to that rifle. So I'm wondering if maybe the feds might drop us some footage, right? We should be able to see some footage. He's got to be idling in his car. You've been speaking about how he has this car. I'm assuming he's not just sitting in the woods or sitting on a sidewalk. This is a quote unquote manhunt. So where is he casually sitting, lingering, loitering? I don't know, but that would be some pretty good footage that they could release if they don't want us all to become a conspiracy theorist, okay? Mm-hmm. He then says, yeah, I've been planning this for a bit over a week. I can get really close to it, but there's a squad car that's parked right by it. That's the drop-off spot. I think they already select the spot, but I don't want to chance it. And then he tells Lance that I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. Yeah, that's a vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't.
Go crazy. Go stupid.
Mike,
go crazy.
Honey said,
go
fuck
stupid.
Candace.
Go crazy. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Bring back Grandpa's rifle. I went to exactly where I got this rifle from, okay? I don't know. I don't even know if if it had a serial number. Weird, because he's been planning this for a week. He might have checked. Now all of a sudden he's getting in the details and is wondering if it had a serial number. That seems a little strange to me, but it wouldn't trace to me, of course, because you just told us in writing that it's your grandpa's. Definitely trying to cover your tracks. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Okay, we're going to get to that. Focus.
Why can she not say outfits? Like, this is the second day in a row where she just cannot say the word outfit. Outfit.
On the changing outfits. That's a real.
It's like the one word she can't say. I don't even think she says axe, but she can't say outfit.
Really important piece of this, and that is why I am now a confirmed conspiracy theorist on this. Okay, I left it in the bush where I changed outfits. Okay, I didn't have the ability or the time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope that they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it was a perfect job. It was top of the line, professional job. The only thing I left behind was the weapon with my prints on it. Oh my gosh, right? Like that's kind of amazing. Okay. Then he, of course, explains, remember how I was engraving the bullet?
Well, like that's so stupid because the gun would be like the most incriminating thing. Like he's not bringing the gun around with him because if someone moments after Charlie Kirk gets shot is walking around with a fucking long rifle, that's obviously going to be like, you know, incriminating. Everyone's going to be like, hey, it's the guy who shot Charlie.
The effing messages are mostly a big meme. I know I speak proper here, but it's just a meme that I was writing. I wrote, notice his bulge. On Fox News, I might have a stroke if they say that, right? If I see notice his bulge on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. Oh, that really effing sucks. It's almost.
That is how an autistic person writes. To be fair, I could totally see an autistic dude writing like that, saying, like just monologuing in text and say like, all right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really fucking sucks.
Was perfect. Okay, so he then ends this message. This is all from the day. This is all we have from September 10th, okay? Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun. Want to make it very clear. This is Grandpa's gun, okay? Nobody should question this narrative because he has put it all here. I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Okay, so that ends that exchange. Now, I have a couple of notes here that I put here at the end of day one as we worked in this correspondence, which all had to happen. Let's call it 7 p.m. earliest as I
like the idea that she just does the research for this on air. Like she's got the notes from the last show because that's the only time she's looking into this stuff. She's like, so where were we? Oh, right. Okay.
I say here, which I want to be clear. The campus is 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours away from where Tyler and Lance live together. We have a map here to show you that. So he's just loitering until, like I said, earliest. He's signifying around like 7 p.m. that he's still very close to campus. That's a long day. That's a real long day, just waiting to see when you can go in there. And there's a manhunt, and he's chill. He's chill because he's changed his outfit. How do we know he changed his outfit? Because he made it very clear that he dropped the clothes, his shooting clothes, right there. He got changed. He didn't have time to take the rifle that was in the that he put in the towel.
His rifle.
But he did have time to change. That totally makes sense. And then for whatever reason, he had to leave the rifle with the prints on it. Okay. What's interesting about that, though, is we should recognize that curiously what they've removed from this indictment, again, relevant to the clothes, was the fact that, and the governor's going to say it, that we are told that he at first enters campus on this day at 8:07 a.m. TMZ shows us the footage, remember?
Thank you, Stummy.
Tommy Wu sent $5 important.
What is it?
Has no one asked this? Will Grandpa get his rifle back when this is all done with?
True.
It's Grandpa's rifle and he deserves to get it back.
That's a good point. I agree, actually. Yeah. True. No one is asking that. Like, they got him.
of the man wearing a maroon T-shirt
should.
and shorts.
Justice for Grandpa.
How this day begins. That is walking through a neighborhood just outside
Grandpa's
of
rifle
university
back.
grounds. The Governor Cox has confirmed this is him. Not mentioning the indictment. That's
Governor's
curious.
cock has
It's very
confirmed it.
relevant. Surely, like, I mean, you guys should be mentioning that. The outfit. What did he do, by the way? From 8:07 a.m.
Dude, do they do this everywhere with the street like this? I feel like I don't see this in New York. Like, you don't get all these. Do your guys' streets in your suburbs look like this? I'm just remembering that I'm watching footage of Utah right now. Yeah.
when he walked
yeah.
onto
Okay.
campus to when he is then seen walking back onto campus at 11:51. That's
Yes.
it's about 4 hours.
Sometimes.
Something else the feds
I think in the East Coast, they maybe don't do it that way as often, but it might be because they have to replace like the whole street more often. I think that's maybe why, because of the moisture. And in the West, they don't have to replace the whole thing, so they just fill in cracks.
police to dispel any conspiracy theories would be him walking back to his car. Because you're telling us he then goes back to campus and he's in a different outfit. Can we get him leaving campus? We know the place is covered with cameras. That would make me feel better if you showed us him leaving campus and then we see him coming back in a different outfit. Again, not clear why he couldn't just wear the outfit he was going to wear, since I would imagine you've got thousands and thousands of students that are wearing something as casual as a black t-shirt and blue jeans. I understand a need for a change if you're in like, a sniper outfit, or if you're wearing
true,
like,
Stunning.
I don't know, a Barney costume. If you showed up and you're wearing like a full Halloween costume, then yeah, maybe you should change. But this is just like average college kid outfit. This is just what you expect to see on campus. It's just what boys wear.
She said it right that time.
Average college kid outfit.
No, she didn't. No, never mind. She didn't. I was talking.
Just what you expect to see on campus. It's just what boys wear. Anyways, like I said, those would be my points from day one. The feds can release that.
I'm sorry, dude. It's just, I don't know why it's fun to nitpick her, but it just is. Like, she does such weird stuff constantly.
And also, I'm wondering, where did Tyler spend the night? Can they clarify that? Where he certainly couldn't have made it out of Iran and back there and back to his home. I'm coming home soon. Would have been the wee hours of the morning. This would have been a good time, by the way, if you're really trying to get away with this,
Spooky
to
seal.
tell your lover to delete the text messages. But he doesn't do that. He's not going to tell him to delete the text messages on this night. Presumably, he saw him. They didn't say he went home to his parents' house. So what happened overnight? When did he get home? He's been so thorough in describing that cleanup job. And by the way, we know that Discord is going to later say that those messages were not coordinated on their server, which I would say was definitely a part of the broader plan. Okay. Let's get into September 11th, because a lot happens here and you are going to really see what I see here.
9/11.
And we need to demand answers. Okay. So on September 11th, we are presented with the first FBI press conference where they confirm that they have found a weapon in the woods.
Right.
Let's take a listen to a
Discord?
bit of that.
This morning I can
Who
tell you
says
that we have
wee
recovered what we
hours? Good question. Yeah, check your texts. How often have you typed wee hours?
believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered
Yeah, probably a red
bolt-action
guard.
rifle.
Candace is like, you know how there's that Red Guard woman that's hiding in the tavern, the Bannered Mare in Whiterun, and she's like hiding from the Alkir warriors. She's like that one.
That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. The FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon.
Now, I wouldn't say the shooter had fled, just based off of he was just kind of lurking around, ringing to go get his weapon back. Okay, like for a long time, but whatever. Let's go with that.
You're right. She
Then
does
what
look
we
key
have
have done
after
more
that 7 a.m.
years. That's true.
7 a.m. press conference is that exclusively
Kind of true, actually.
our guy-
And like head shape. Actually, now that you say that, she does have like a dark elf head. like the low poly version too. Like not even like the Skyrim one necessarily, but like just all of them.
guys, our resident guys over at the New York Post, every exclusive ever. Jeffrey
Dark Elf
Epstein's death
exposed.
pictures.
Fucking
Ghislaine
great.
Maxwell found at an In-N-Out. It's always the New York Post. Okay. I view them as a feds. If I'm the feds and I'm trying to
stay
make
away
this
from
seem like
that
this is
house.
organic,
It's evil.
I wouldn't give it to the New York Post
Cursed.
because we're in Utah. And so cops are probably not leaking to a New York-based publication. But whatever, they have the
Dude,
exclusive.
it's Utah. They're not leaking to the New York Post. They're leaking to fucking Mug Club. They're leaking to Steven Crowder.
They're the ones that reveal the photo. They always have the exclusive, okay? And they show us the gun in the shooting. Their article publishes at, and by the way, my timeline is all based in Mountain Time. So that says 11:21 a.m. Eastern. They publish at 9:21 a.m., 2 hours after that first press conference, and say exclusive. They are the ones that drop the trans narrative. They say these things are found on the bullets, okay? And then just 7 minutes later, the FBI,
The Nugget is
Salt
a
Lake
Khajiit.
City,
Oh,
drops
okay.
static images of the alleged
to
shooter
know.
walking
The
up the
Nugget.
stairs. Okay, so now we can see on our timeline that's around 10 a.m. in the morning.
What time did Laura Loomer post the falsely enhanced AI images of his face?
Salt Lake City time, Mountain Time. So we can then assume
Warmer
that
sands, my
everything else
friends.
that's about to happen that I'm going to tell you had to have happened, okay, between approximately 10:30 and 7 o'clock p.m., okay? I have a source.
Why the fuck is she Mountain Time? Well, she's not. She's just using Mountain Time because that's Utah time. Because that's the best time.
And everything the source has told me that has happened and when we were lied to publicly has proven to be correct. So I am very inclined to believe this source on a couple of other things. And when I speak also to Lance's family,
Mountain
they are
time.
confirming what this source is telling me.
Mountain.
So we're going to go through this
It's
10:30
a-
a.m.
it's
to
a
7
mountain.
p.m., all of the things that then took place. So they released the photo. And then we are told, as my source initially told me, that it was the mother who recognized Tyler and she phones him up. Tyler says, Mom,
Nugget
I'm
time.
sick. She doesn't believe it. She loops in Dad. Okay. Dad then texts and he calls Tyler. And at this point, we can jump back into day 2 of our messages because Robinson
who?
he says to Lance, delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says, Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me right now. I'm not answering. Okay, so apparently he did answer. According to the indictment, the dad says he didn't answer his text messages, but then the father called him and Tyler Robinson answered, and he tells us that Tyler was suicidal and that is when they just told him, like, calm down, let's speak to you. They bring over their neighbor sheriff friend and they agree that he should go in. Now, if he was in fact suicidal, you don't get that vibe from these messages to his lover, right? There's nothing in here that he's like, I can't believe what I've done. Now he slept.
His lover, dude.
Don't know where. He seems
My
to
love.
be perhaps on very little sleep. I would imagine he was. He just murdered someone, and
I
he's
didn't
not
have time to
indicating
retrieve
in
the
these
firearm.
messages that he's going through
I just had to
any
get into my
sort of
vehicle.
suicidal
I
feelings.
love-
Instead, he sends this very odd thing about his dad, who he says he's not answering. He writes, "Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty die-hard MAGA." There's something here for everyone if you want to take the low-hanging fruit and think of this as left versus right, right? So if you're like, on the right, you're like, I need to blame the left, then it's like, whoa, the trans thing is here. But if you're on the left, you need to blame the right. Well, Dad was a die-hard MAGA. It's like, it's so fed. It's just so federally written. It's amazing.
You are
so
so
chaos
dumb.
right here.
You are so dumb.
Anyways, I guess
It's so chaos refers to one of 3 books she's ever read. Like,
maybe if you're suicidal,
Oh my
that's what you
gosh.
said. Dad's been pretty diehard MAGA. And then we don't know, again, when these messages took place, but it all had to happen in these 7 or 8 hours. He says, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors is here. He is deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. He seems impassioned here. He doesn't seem suicidal. And then Lance comes back and says, I'm much more worried about you. And Robinson says,
can Matan Evans please have her on and please ask her to name 10 books, please?
don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any
Please.
comments because the feds want to let you know why it is that we're not talking to Lance, right? They got to tell you. Because Tyler told him, duh. If you're going, wow, if Lance is really not guilty and he hasn't done anything, this would be a good time to speak, right? No, Lance is not doing that because Tyler right here says, Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. And if any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. So that's how it happens. And I want to tell you that we can jump back into the timeline here.
Right.
Our source informs us that it was around 7:00 p.m.
As a black feminist who is tired of being told who to vote for, this commentary calms my ancient Shaka soul. Yeah. True, actually.
When everybody locally began receiving the text messages that Tyler Robinson was in custody and that they were going to pick him up in Warner Valley. Now, Warner Valley is right next to St. George. So he lives very close to his parents. Is what I want you to recognize. You've got St. George, you've got Warner Valley. So they said like that's where they went to go pick him up.
Warner Valley.
That could very much be his parents' place. But what's really interesting about that, okay, if you consider that they are telling us at 7 p.m. that this is when all the messages started circulating, then we don't know why the feds say that it was the 33rd hour after the shooting, like a total Freemason number. 33rd hour after the shooting. It took us 33 hours.
Their symbolism will be their downfall.
Okay, 33 hours would be at 9:23 p.m. Our person is telling us, and I tend to believe them, that everyone knew at 7:00 p.m., okay? And what they tell us took place thereafter, and this is what I confirmed with Lance's family, because I said, wait a second, you owned the house. When did they pick up Lance? When did Lance go in? When did the home that you own get raided by the feds? Did the home that you own get raided by the feds? And what that family is telling me, and what
this is all screaming federally written to me. This is pretty federal.
Telling me it's matching.
Anyone else?
Okay, so I'm feeling good about this. We'll say allegedly, but I'm feeling good about this. Okay, so Tyler is allegedly in custody, and they are told, don't say, don't speak, don't do anything. The feds, you have to wait for the feds to get there to question Tyler. And that didn't happen until the wee hours of the morning. How do we know? Because we're going to hear that from Governor Cox the following morning. Anyways, but apparently what happens is then they bring Lance in at 11 p.m.-ish. We'll tell you around 11 p.m. Lance Twiggs is brought in for questioning.
Good old Utah boy Jimbo doesn't know where Warner Valley
apartment is raided. And I say overnight into the wee hours of the morning is when they first raid Tyler and Lance's apartment. Now, why am I really stressing this out to you?
Pantherist, anti-Semite?
Because this would signal to you that it would be...
Dude, stop.
We have a responsibility, but as an artist, we have a responsibility to use our platforms. Neutrality or silence shouldn't be an option.
Slay.
Give Palestine your voice, and when your voice goes hoarse, hang your flags, wear your keffiyeh, show them we are here.
That's it. I'm putting my keffiyeh back on. We're back. We're back.
Absolute BS. If the feds are going to tell us bright and early the next morning that the case is closed, they would know nothing. According to Lance's family, this is when they seized his electronics. They say that he's deep on the internet.
What you know about a keffiyeh?
That there's definitely going to be something there, and yet they told us that.
Let me ask you.
Quite oddly, Lance gets released right back to his parents. Right, not right back. Lance just gets released to his parents while they're raiding his apartment. Why would they release Lance?
Because they hate us.
Wouldn't you think that you would be detained like for at least 24 hours, right? If we're putting this at around 11 p.m.-ish, that they have brought him in
because they hate us at the
questioning him, and they are now moving to raid his apartment in the wee hours of the morning. Why would they very quickly release him? And beyond that, I'm going to let you know. Let's jump into Friday on the timeline. Like I said, early hours, Tyler and Lance have their apartment raided and the devices seized. For whatever reason, the FBI quickly releases Lance, and I'm told that he is dropped off at his parents' home, allegedly. And then it's at 6 a.m. that President Trump announces with a high degree of certainty that they have the suspect, okay? So are they still raiding his place? I don't know, but take a listen to Trump on Fox and Friends.
Any updates on the suspect?
Yeah,
can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody.
We allegedly have him.
Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job.
Interesting.
Okay.
What
and
do you mean
here is
by
what
that?
the governor is then 2 hours later is when his press conference began. I'm going to do the short clip. Okay, let's play actually a little bit of the longer clip, Skylar. I'll tell you when to come out of it. It's a 6-minute long clip, and you should go back and watch it in its entirety. He's going to make it seem like, you know, Lance doesn't even exist. But let's start it off and listen to a minute of this, and then I'll give the synopsis.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the
They hate us at the Palantir Limited Hangout, false flag, but symbolism will be their downfall. Frodo. One word, Frodo. Holy shit. True.
incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images.
Okay, stop. That's actually a perfect place to stop right there. My source says he's lying. I don't like Governor Cox. Vibes. Okay, vibes. I don't know. Can't explain it. I'm getting tons of people that are messaging me telling me he's corrupt, that he forced himself onto the ballot, that he wasn't even supposed to be the governor. Allegedly. I just don't like him. Every time
we fucking hate him.
We find an inconsistency, I actually find him to be the mouthpiece of it. Okay, so he is representing.
I hate Cox.
And my source says falsely that they picked up Tyler Robinson. And by the way, it makes perfect sense.
Or the governor
that my source
of Utah.
is saying that that's not accurate. In the same outfits that we just showed you, okay, of the maroon thing that happens at 8 o'clock. We don't know what he was doing for 4 hours on campus, but he's telling us that for 33 hours, he decided that he was going to keep the outfit on. Now, remember, I told you that Tyler Robinson's classmate reached out and they insisted that this was an incredibly odd thing because he was very tidy. He was very clean. And they said that's the first thing that they went, that just sounds weird. He was a very tidy dude. Now I'm telling you that my source is saying he wasn't wearing that outfit when he got picked up. He wasn't wearing that outfit when he was brought to the office.
I'm not a fan of the governor of Utah.
If I have this wrong, this would be a very easy thing. Okay, surely they're going to have photos. They've got something for them to release. It's like, yeah, no, we totally got him. I want to be clear. If you are in the police station and you want to reach out and let me know more,
Bitch thinks she the Mug Club. Dude, she thinks she got the Mug Club. She thinks the Mug Club watching this. Dude, no. This is for little girls. You don't get the fucking police insider details. That's reserved for Steven Crowder.
At CandaceOwens.com, because I'm struck by this.
She's
this
trying
is what
to have a Candace exclusive.
Yeah, right. Wraps it up and says he was wearing the same outfit. And that always sounded dumb to us. Why would you not take a shower in 33 hours, okay? That doesn't make any sense to anybody whatsoever. And people are saying that fact is untrue.
Listen, some of us are dirty, okay?
Okay. Now, if that is untrue, let's first show you how he wraps this up. We might show you a portion of what he said again because we wanted to compress his 6-minute clip, but listen to how he wraps up this conference too, because it's relevant.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah, but I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history.
Closure. He says closure. We got him. They already start in that he starts talking about the messages.
Closure.
He starts filling in the blanks.
Is that going to bring Charlie back? Like, do you think that that's going to bring him back? Closure? Closure? You fucking jerk.
He said he had it. He put it in a towel. We have messages. It's all over. We found it on Discord. Discord is going to say that's not true. So who made up these messages? When were these messages made up is the question. If Discord's saying they don't exist,
not doing things I don't understand.
This signals to me that these messages were just created.
We got him.
And I'm further feeling that way because there's no timestamps.
Ladies and gentlemen,
again, I want to be proven wrong. Okay, but I don't like this at all. And we got him. It's over. And we can turn the page with finality. Would you, if you were an honest governor and you knew that only, again, 4 hours earlier? How long does it take to raid a home? I don't know. Is it quick? Is it like a 10-minute thing? It feels like it'd be a long thing to grab the devices. If you knew that you had not even begun going through those devices, how would you say that we can close this chapter?
Oh my gosh.
What would you say?
Dude, that's the worst argument. This is the dumbest argument for it being a conspiracy ever. This is so retarded now, okay? He said, we can now hopefully bring closure to this chapter. Where you think we know this, we think we have the guy, the suspect.
We can close this chapter. I would have said,
oh
honestly.
Oh my gosh.
And he does not.
It's just
we
begun.
Raided his home and we are looking for more information. We think that there's going to be a lot more information, but we wanted to let you know that we at least have one person that we feel is definitely involved. That's not what he says. He says it's over. It's done. Wrap it up. We're not going to even tell you about the fact that we just raided the...
What's this?
Charlie.
Disney-owned ABC will put Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely. Will pull...
Good afternoon, West Nitty. Sent $3 to worst show on TV. Jimmy Kimmel Live has been canceled. Link.
No way. Disney-owned ABC will pull... Dude, wokeism is totally extinguished and dead. Have we defeated wokeism once and for all? Will we get anti-woke Disney movies now? Disney-owned ABC will pull Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely after his remarks about Charlie Kirk. Kimmel falsely blamed Charlie's assassin as someone from the MAGA gang.
We hit some new lows.
That is crazy because, dude, like, even Stephen Colbert was being respectful. Like... If Stephen Colbert is being more respectful than you are, like, that's just insane.
Over the weekend, with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk, man.
Okay, true. Okay, but this is true though. Like, why the fuck did he not care though? That's true.
Sir, personally, how are you holding up over the
Okay, he's right. With this part though, he's right. Like, what the fuck?
last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started.
How are you doing, sir? I'm pretty good. Did you see we're building? Did you see what we're building over here? How cool is this? Isn't that great?
Construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Look at my ballroom.
Something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction.
Check out this dope ballroom.
This is not how an adult grieves the murder
Dude, look at my
of someone he
fucking
called a friend.
awesome
This is how a
ballroom.
4-year-old mourns.
That's crazy. But they pulled Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, like, that's just a W. All around, that's just a W. Dude. Total woke right victory. We're back. All right, anyway, back to
this
this.
a couple of hours ago. And the person whose place we raided, who was the one that the family says is super internet, we just kind of released, but we're not interested in that. What are we to discern?
We're gonna line this bitch with LEDs. It's gonna be fire. Dude, this new ballroom's gonna go crazy. We're gonna have LED string lights all over the ceiling. I'm gonna put a big surround sound system. Subwoofers under the floor boards.
Learn from all of this. I'll tell you my take on this. I think the person in the maroon that's walking is different from the person that's walking up the stairs. It's a gut thing, okay? I don't know, but I know. Okay? I don't know.
Okay, well, you're
but
retarded.
I know.
You're retarded?
It makes sense in the timeline of George Zinn, the decoy boy, that we've got other people that are doing different things. And it is, they do not want us to prod the narrative about the person in maroon. It doesn't make sense. They can't tell us. He said he planned this for weeks. So I'm going to assume if he planned it for weeks, that he didn't go to campus earlier because he wanted to scope things out. He would have done that. He would have obviously been able to do that.
Are you like, maybe he didn't know what it was actually gonna fucking look like? Maybe you don't just show up 5 minutes before you want to fucking shoot someone? Like,
already, because he's been planning this for a week.
Oh my God.
He knew where Charlie was speaking, right? Make it make sense. It's very easy to debunk me. Very easy.
It is.
You should have footage of him in that Dodge Challenger just waiting and salivating. He kept checking. He said, oh, here I am right here, just waiting to get that rifle back. I'm waiting to get that rifle back. Where's the footage? You were on a manhunt. Where is the footage? Surely during a manhunt, you use drones. I feel like we are tech capable enough that during a manhunt, after a murderer of a college student decides to take out Charlie Kirk, who has been a friend of the feds, right? I think probably not a good idea.
What are you going to use a drone? Like, he's in a metro. Can I just show a map of like what this looks like? Are you just retarded? Like, that is just so stupid. Can we just pull up what UVU looks like? What is a drone going to help with here when you don't know what you're looking for? Okay, this isn't like, it's not a wooded area. It's like a metropolitan area. UVU, okay? And then just like suburbs, city, Provo. Like, what would a drone help with here? What the
He'd be friends with these people, but whatever. He's been a friend of the feds. Surely this is a big issue. And to put to rest.
There was a manhunt in my neighborhood last month. I looked up in my garden and there was a drone just staring at me 10 feet above me. That's crazy.
Conspiracies. You're going to show us that drone footage, and we're going to see
Candace.
The Dodge Challenger just sitting there for hours.
The Nugget is a Khajiit warrior.
And hours. And we're maybe even going to be able to see, because I'm sure at that point, like cops maybe set up some barricades or something as he was going in and out.
You sound crazy.
And then he decides he's going to leave. Show us the footage. Like I said, every inch of that campus is covered. So we should be able to see he's wearing maroon, and you're telling us that he went back to his car and he changed. Show us him leaving campus before he returns back to campus around 11:30. Just show us the footage, okay? I'm demanding it. You know why? Because I need to be able to fit things into my timeline.
Dude, okay, when she keeps saying that, that's where it's just like ridiculous. Like saying it, that like this is the issue. This is what just drives me crazy about Candace is it's like, if she said, show us the footage because we need it, like we deserve to see all the evidence. Show us all the evidence. That would be like totally, okay, fine. No, normal. It's that she goes, show us the evidence because I need it for my timeline. Like, bitch, no one cares about your timeline.
If that's okay with you. So I would discern that we are looking, just vibe again, 2 different people would be my thing. 2 different people. One of those people is definitely, individuals is definitely being protected. And separately, we can definitely make out that for whatever reason, Lance is being protected. There's no way you release that guy. Okay. There's no way you release that guy immediately.
What would
There's
you
no
hold him
way
on?
that you intentionally purge him out of these messages. Okay. The excuse he's being cooperative doesn't work. You can be cooperative while you're still being detained.
You can't just arrest people.
At least 24 hours before you would say, I felt good to clear him as a suspect, especially when you haven't even raided his home yet. They released him instantly and they said, job done. So I would like more information about Lance Twiggs. Okay, I already don't like
from
that mom
from Death Note.
received a Bachelor of
Oh my
Science from
gosh.
Stanford University in psychology. It seems to be a running theme in these Fed ops that there's always psychology somewhere in the family. And I want to be very clear, I'm not saying his mom has anything to do with anything, but I am saying,
dude, stop calling her Lance. It's Luna. Excuse me, you're referring to Luna.
that I feel this kid, for some reason, some unknown reason, is being protected. And I'm not the only one. His family feels that way. Okay. His family thinks it's odd. Like I said yesterday, I spoke to them today. I spoke to them yesterday. They think it's odd that the feds moved on from him so quickly and that the feds were being dishonest, and they felt about everything when they first came out with information. So why are we all feeling that way? We absolutely need to get to the bottom of it. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to show you some stuff. I mean, Tucker completely destroyed the Bibi Netanyahu narrative, Megyn Kelly, Dave Smith. I mean, everybody yesterday. The truth is coming out inevitably about Charlie's mindset. And the reason we're discussing it, obviously, is because of Bibi Netanyahu coming out and lying. But some
Nick is
important things that he said. First and foremost, before we do that,
Nick is
I want to remind you guys about
Jew-sucking
Riverbend
right
Ranch
now.
because I absolutely love them as a company. And I know that there were so many people, so many companies that wanted to make sure that they did something. To be honest, no. The lack of answers that we are getting from the feds. That is the only thing here that is happening that is inappropriate. I want to be very clear. Too many things that the feds can easily do to dissuade us. Okay. And they're not doing any of it. They're just doing that thing which is like, are we still talking about it? No, now they're actually doing the like, this is inappropriate. Charlie's funeral's coming up. Stop yourselves right now. Okay, stop. This is exactly, no, oh, you're inappropriate. No, you know what was inappropriate? Charlie Kirk getting shot.
Getting shot in front of everyone.
Well, we all had to watch that. We are all suffering PTSD and the lack of answers that we are getting from the feds. That is the only thing here that is happening that is inappropriate. I want to be very clear. Actually, not the only thing. Bibi Netanyahu trying to spin this into, he's my good friend. I just invited him. Well, Tucker Carlson completely shredded that narrative. I don't like that Bibi lied so quickly. It doesn't make me comfortable. I don't like it.
Sad but true.
Sad but true. Just went live yesterday. He also brought in Megyn Kelly and other people, and he spoke about what Charlie was going through because he saw him very shortly before his assassination, and he intimates to everybody what it was exactly that was on Charlie Kirk's mind and what he was living through in that moment. Take a listen.
I was shocked and sickened by the reaction of the ghoulish and really repulsive reaction of the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to Charlie's death. Basically made it all about him and all about his country immediately, trying to take the energy, the sadness, the grief that people felt over Charlie's murder and redirect it towards support for whatever project he's involved in. And by the way, Benjamin Netanyahu is not the same as the nation of Israel at all. Bibi is despised by many people in Israel. People who live there, that that's true. There are huge divisions between Israel and government. The retail world in Israel do not support some things that Benjamin Netanyahu has done recently. So it's not the same as attacking Israel, attacking Bibi, but I don't think I've ever seen anything lower than his attempt to hijack Charlie's memory and use it for his own political ends, particularly because what he said was completely untrue. Charlie didn't hate Jews. He loved Jews. He had tons of friends who were Jews. He loved the state of Israel, loved going there. He did not like Bibi Netanyahu. He said that to me many times, and he said to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu. He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people. And there's no question that Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact.
So he was aware of that and just didn't say anything the whole time. So now he 100% was aware that Israel was using America to prosecute their wars, and he just continued just lying about it anyway. That's cool.
Enough text messages exist that I think it can probably be verified in pretty short order. Not that it needs to be, because that is true. Shortly after that speech, there was a very intense attack on Charlie, and so I mean, not that I really noticed, but on him, I have no donors. He had $100 million worth of donors, and so because he was involved in a different project from just yapping on the internet, which is what I do for a living, he was dependent to a great extent on those donors, of course. It's a nonprofit. And they went after him and tormented him. Not all, of course, many were supportive, but the ones who were offended by my speech, and there was a small, very intense group who were, tormented Charlie Kirk until the day he died. 2 days before he died, he lost a $2 million donation because he had publicly pledged to bring me to the next Turning Point conference in December. And he told me over the past couple of months he was losing a lot of donations over that pledge. They put out a flyer basically saying that I was going to be at this event.
Israeli cancel culture.
Said, man, I'm really taking a lot of heat for this, and people are really mad. The American Jewish Committee called in a statement Charlie Kirk an anti-Semite, and quote, dangerous. Charlie Kirk, an anti-Semite. Yeah. He was not an anti-Semite. He was the opposite, and he was not dangerous. He was a philo-Semite and a purveyor of peace. He was the opposite, and he was very stung by that. And those of us who've been called names for a long time are a little bit harder to offend. Charlie was deeply offended by that and expressed some of those feelings on Megyn Kelly's show and in other places. But that did not let him. The reason I'm telling the story is because he called me and came to see me at my house.
It's like, what the fuck? I love Jews.
And, I said to him every single time, look,
dude, I fucking love Jews. Why are they saying I don't like Jews? I fucking love them.
I've got my own way to communicate my views. This is actually not the most important issue to me. There are things I can talk about. Don't need to come to Turning Point. I can pick you up, no problem.
Don't call me an anti-Semite.
The hassle he was getting from people, and I was being attacked too, by the way. It was a huge effort. I wasn't fully aware of it, actually, because I don't go online that much, but there was a huge effort by people, some of whom I know and have helped, and like Seth Dillon at the Babylon Bee, for example.
Or a Loomer.
Someone who had his own problems with free speech, who was famously canceled. And I like Seth Dillon. I had him on a couple of times. I had dinner with him to show support. Seth Dillon was out there demanding that Charlie Kirk take me off the roster, pull me off stage, because I had said things that Bibi didn't like or that he didn't like or whatever. Shocking that someone whose whole persona is wrapped up in the idea. I was the first to like Jews. Yeah,
me too.
Make a more compelling case.
I was before you.
And many others like him were advocating for me getting pulled off the stage because they don't like what I'm saying. This is a trend, and one that we should be really concerned about. It's not just about Israel, by the way, at all. The trend is really simple. People with power don't want to hear disagreement. They don't want to be challenged, ever. That's why we have free speech, to acknowledge that even those of us or people with less power
Okay. I've had it 2 times speed. Can we please?
You don't own them. So time after time, Charlie would call me or come to see me and let me know, wow, or show me text messages. These people are really mad that you're speaking. And I would always have the same thought, like, I feel pretty moderate, actually. I've never been an Israel hater. Obviously, I'm not an anti-Semite. I just don't want more wars, and I don't want a foreign country humiliating my country and telling us what our laws have to be. I mean, this seems like pretty basic America First stuff, and he would say, I totally agree with you, but they want you off the stage. And I would always say, no problem. And he would say, no, it's important. It's a matter of principle. I want you to be there. Great.
Okay, can we, like, what is this?
Or imply anything. There's a lot we don't know about who murdered Charlie and why, but I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I think it's important to say that out loud because it's a fact, and there are many liars out there trying, Bibi Netanyahu, number one among them, shamefully, who are trying to distort the truth, a truth that I know and can prove.
What I want to add here is that it takes a truly demonic spirit, right, to be a part of the people that were swarming, pressuring, threatening, intimidating Charlie, to then flip in 1 second after he dies and say, pretend it never happened, like they were just great friends. That's weird to me. It's very weird to me. We wouldn't be here if they didn't do that. They could have said anything like, Josh Hammer, I know how you were messaging him. Like, release the messages, buddy. Just release all of your threads with Charlie in the 48 hours leading up to his death, okay? Let people see it. They did it at first regarding me last year. They insisted, and I said, Charlie, I couldn't even come up for air. I said, Charlie, don't even think about it. I don't even care. Don't even fight your donors. Just let them think they won because I got to rebuild my entire life. I was just publicly fired. You know what I mean? Like, this is not, you're good. Like, you are so good. I couldn't even care about this less. Like, you're a brother to me. Do what you have to do to survive. Okay. And then he just saw them moving into, it wasn't just Candace. They wanted Tucker. You know, I like Tucker. Tucker shouldn't be here. And then Charlie realized which way the wind was blowing because it's never enough. It's never enough with them. Okay?
Left hand nugget.
They want to be the authority on speech. And it is reality that those very same people who were pressuring him and threatening him.
Charlie Kirk's assassin had over 2,600 hours in VR chat. What is our source on this? They're saying that the assassin had 2,600 hours in VR chat. That's crazy. That would make you kill, honestly. That would. 2,600 hours in VR chat is unbelievable.
Him and calling him an anti-Semite.
That's not even a lot. That's so many. That is so much.
Then became the fastest people to try to eulogize him and to say, look no further. He effectively died for Bibi Netanyahu. It's wrong, and we have to stand up to that narrative. Matt Gaetz jumped into the ring and basically just doubled down on what Tucker Carlson said. He tweeted this. I have personal knowledge as to many of the claims Tucker is making here. They are 100% true. Yes, they were behaving like demons. There's just no question. It's very weird when a demon then pretends that they weren't being demonic. You could be chill. You could have transformed it after Charlie was assassinated, you could have said, wow, my last correspondence with him was I was upset about something, and now I realize that life is so short and fragile, and it's really not worth it.
You're so dumb. Like, they are fucking spies, you idiot. Like,
I really regret my last correspondence. And I'd be like, okay, that was really authentic and real. Instead, they were like, oh, we had a wonderful time.
You're just such a retarded bitch, dude.
I just shot her. Oh, love Charlie. Just loved him so much.
Oh my
Something is weird about that.
gosh.
Spiritually, it's evil. That's what it is. It's evil. And in case you needed any more, another person to tell you that he was being intimidated, and they were bullying him about who he could speak to. Here's Megyn Kelly. She joined Tucker Carlson, and she says this very quickly. Take a listen.
Charlie is not the only one who's been threatened or was threatened to cut ties with you or not platform you. I too have gotten that, especially since you've been more outspoken on Israel. And I couldn't care less the amount of pressure they put on. Like, what are you talking about? This is madness. Why would you want to silence such a powerful, important voice just because you disagree with them on one subject, one on which we've all watched you sincerely evolve as you grapple with principles you've been espousing for years, like America First, like what's happening to Christians, like what's best for us and our kids here, how do I keep them safe? That's my number one priority. And I've been just absolutely disgusted and recoiled from people who have tried to pressure me on it. Of course, it never happened. But I know from speaking to Charlie, he felt it too. You've heard it from Charlie that he felt, and there is a layer here of nefarious pressure to have certain narratives go only one way.
Yes.
That must be called out, must be fought.
Love that. Like, Megyn, that was amazing. Thank you. I
Megyn.
think all of us right now are just feeling we have to speak. Okay. So if you know something about what was going on, if you have something, send it all to me, 'cause I'm organizing. Okay?
You're supposed to have the receipts.
Getting a lot of tips. By the way, many of you guys
You're
spoke
just not going to
about
post it.
the individual who very quickly, I think 4 minutes after Charlie was shot, went and took the camera down and moved his chair and stood up and took the camera down literally 4 or 5 minutes after he was shot. I want to let you know, I was able to figure out who that person was because I recognized one of the individuals, and I reached out to that individual and I said, you know, I've known you for a long time, and I would
you mean the camera gun? Yeah, we took that down.
like to see the footage.
The camera gun to shoot him? Yeah.
We
did
I would
take
like to
that.
see the footage, and I
know
think
what
the
happened.
world would trust me. If there's nothing weird that happened on that day, and there's about 4 or 5 cameras on that day, I'm not going to publish the footage, but I want to see it with my own 2 eyes so I can stand on this platform, so I can sit here on this platform and I can say to the world, no funny business happened. Truly, we can all go home. It was
Still no
Tyler
receipts,
Robinson,
still no
and he
receipts.
acted alone.
Literally still
and there
no
was
receipts.
nobody else there. And this kid just, I guess, after having a life where he didn't bother anybody, just woke up one day and chose violence, and then decided to explain every layer of what he had done that day via text messages. I want to be able to look people in the eye honestly and say that. So I want to see all of his footage. So I am working to get to the bottom of it. Okay. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories floating in about the security guard and people thinking he was
You
making
get on and read the transcript the
gestures.
police
I know that security person.
day.
He's a good guy. It would shock me. I usually get a vibe about somebody. Not that guy. Not the guy that they say he's like rolling up. He tends to do that, roll up his sleeves. I don't buy that one.
Not that guy.
Okay? I don't buy that one.
The vibes
And,
aren't off with
here's
that
the thing.
one.
That's my gut. My gut has led me in the right way. And I want you guys to know that once I look at all the footage from every angle, if I'm putting in this formal request and they said they would speak to the lawyers, I think the world will trust me to say there was no funny business and this is exactly what happened. So I've put in that request. And
Bitch, it does not matter if there is or isn't. You're going to say there is.
I want you guys to know
This
that.
investigation is entirely based off vibes. It literally is.
And I mean business. I'm getting to the bottom of this. And
It
last thing I
literally
wanna
is.
say-
She has like 5 times now just justified whatever she's saying by, listen, the vibes, I'm just thinking it's probably off. Like, I think they're just weird. I don't know.
Say to this like new flex operation mocking pastor, regarding which, by the way, the first time they went after Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, a source told me, and I would love to get this confirmed, I'm going to find this out, that $150 million was spent on that, and it came from Bibi Netanyahu. I would like to figure out if that's true. But anyways, obviously investing this, and I'm not going to let it go.
spent on what?
You're not going to emotionally
Attacking
use some
Tucker
jujitsu,
Carlson?
and I'm referring here to Roy or Rob McCoy, who says, I'm Charlie's pastor, and here's the truth, or whatever it is, to look the other way right now, okay? You're not going to tell me that I have to feel too bad to investigate who shot my friend in front of my face. So stop the nonsense. This is what Charlie's pastor passed around to all of the people that were intimidating Charlie leading up to his death.
Pastor.
It's funny that Charlie's pastor couldn't find his voice when Bibi Netanyahu was lying about Charlie. Here's Pastor. You know what he's saying are lies. No, he didn't find his voice saying anything about Bibi Netanyahu. Candace investigating things? Yeah, that's got to stop. Here's what he wrote. Okay, what's his name? Rob
You're not
McCoy.
investigating anything.
He wrote.
Has she brought anything new forward at all? She's just read the police report and then given us her like vibe. Like, I don't think so.
Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, though he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this. I only wish at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie Kirk that he was to her.
Shot him in front of my face. Now Candace has convinced herself that she was there that day. She was, dude. She was. She was in the front row.
He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had God forbid this tragedy been hers. A friend loves at all times, and he drops a biblical proverb. Now, let me say this, okay? I hope that Charlie would have been the sort of friend that I'm being, okay? He would have never, why? Why wouldn't Charlie Kirk have investigated if I had been killed and we were being so obviously lied to? I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
Dude, that scripture makes no sense there. Proverbs 17:17, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Like, that doesn't even, what the fuck does that even mean?
I think Charlie was a real...
How would that make sense at the end of that?
Real friend, and he would not have dropped it. He would not have let it...
That pastor is so funny. That pastor just like for no reason, just being like, Candace, can you stop being a bitch?
Go. Least
Proverbs 17:17 says, Candace, you need to stop being a fucking hoe right now. You a hoe and a bitch.
First of all, because he was being emotionally manipulated by a guy who curiously kept his mouth shut when Bibi lied. You knew, if you were really his close friend and pastor, how he was feeling about Bibi Netanyahu. You knew, if you're his close friend and pastor, exactly the names of everybody who was intimidating him and how poorly they are misrepresenting the things that he believed. So why don't you focus on being more...
Imagine if Charlie Kirk had a black pastor and he was calling her a trifling ass hoe. Dude, oh my gosh, why couldn't Charlie Kirk be black?
Honest as a pastor.
Or just have a black pastor.
And giving as much information as you can possibly provide so that we can continue this investigation. If
Candace,
you can't do this, I'm going to have to ask for your silence. Okay? Be quiet.
You a hoe for this.
I mean that. Nobody is going to stop me from investigating what happened to Charlie Kirk, because it feels to me, okay, that this is a conspiracy.
These hoes be scandalous and shit. Man, these hoes be scandalizing this and shit.
Conspiracy, a federal level conspiracy, which means that there's going to be somebody else, so maybe somebody close to Charlie.
The scandalization going on is just too much for me.
That could be involved in this, right? And when I am satisfied that there is no conspiracy, I will communicate that. But at the moment, no. I am feeling the exact opposite. I don't trust anybody. There's a lot more information that I wish I could share, but I'm going to tell you guys, it's going to get uglier.
Scandalization.
And these absolute demons are trying to justify saying you shouldn't investigate until the funeral, until the state funeral, until, as I have heard, people are trying to buy their way.
Let the gun cool.
I've given this much money. I want to say some remarks about Charlie Kirk. Okay.
At the moment, the vibes are off. Yeah, I was feeling it.
Stop. A real friend would investigate.
Ever try magnanimity, bitch? Magnanimosity. Magnanimously. Man, you are not a magnanimously hoe.
Someone's murder, and they would not
stop
be
magnanimous and shit
about the resolution and the answers that they were given. And I'll let you know when that is, Pastor. Okay? All right, before I get into some of your comments and see what you guys are thinking about all of this, I want to remind you about the wellness company, because you may have, or maybe you didn't, but if you didn't know, then you should, that methylene blue being sold online is the same grade that is used in fish tank. Did you guys know that? Watch out for low quality bottles that are untested.
Is she declaring war on Alex Jones? What the fuck?
Tested for heavy metals and made overseas. You can, however, trust the wellness company's Recharge, which is a doctor-formulated supplement combining powdered methylene blue with NAD plus and PQQ.
She's dissing Alex.
Methylene blue is USP grade, ensuring top tier.
I can't wait until Candace crashed down Erica Kirk. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Candace starts freaking out at her, saying like, "I knew him before you, bitch."
Purity for maximum safety and effectiveness. This is not the sketchy stuff that you will find on Amazon. Recharge is formulated with research-backed ingredients.
How the methylene blue be looking at me in the cup? When it's got metals in it, when it's got heavy metals in it.
To optimize brain function and cellular repair while supporting clean, lasting energy. You can tap into cognitive and metabolic support that helps you stay energized, focused, and resilient all day long. Choose a trusted formula made for your body, not for fish tanks. Feel the difference with enhanced mental clarity, sustained energy, sharper focus, and protection against cognitive decline. And no, it won't turn your tongue blue. Head to twc.health/Candace and use code Candace, and you'll get 15% off plus free shipping. Again, that is twc.health/Candace and use code Candace to get 15% off.
Why am I watching
plus
this?
Free shipping.
Sorry, I'm retarded. Sorry. Apologies. Apologies.
Down and
I'm just spacing out.
Rebuild. Okay.
Apologies.
That's why they hate me. That's exactly why they hate me, because they don't have any ownership over me.
They hate us.
They can't fire me. That's it. The person that can fire me is my husband. And I don't think he's going to fire me. I hope not. Geraldine Padilla writes, never surrender, fight for Charlie and fight for freedom. We will. Mia writes, what do you do when a person has such high morals? They will never do anything that you can use to blackmail them, and they won't take your money to say lies. Charlie Kirk couldn't be bought or blackmailed, and that is why they took him out. That is your theory that you are presenting there, Mia. And I will say this.
Methylanimous
like Tucker said, to have so many donors, what I do know is the donors became very rotten at the end.
Right.
He relied on his donors. They were making threats. Some of them, up until the very last minute, were making threats against him. Financial threats, I'm referring to, obviously. Some people are lying and saying that I said this donor tried to kill him, or it's so ridiculous.
My mitochondria never been better yet.
That's a threat, okay?
Never been so powerful.
Threat. Michelle E. writes, you and Charlie are both so inspiring and have taught me a lot. I think it's amazing what you are continuing to do for Charlie. God bless you, and God bless Charlie. Love and prayers from Scotland. Also, thank you guys. I see you defending me when people are lying and saying that I said stuff that I didn't say. You know, their new thing that went around is today I woke up and like all of like Bill Ackman's cronies were like, would you like to comment? The New York Post would like to, I said, literally, New York Post, you guys are just feds. And I don't really feel like commenting. I don't care. The people are awake. We are awake. Okay. We see what is happening. And you're not going to distract me. Write your stupid articles. Call me whatever you need to call me. People are listening and they can hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay. The entire world needs to wake up right now. And I believe that Charlie Kirk's murder has provided us an opportunity to do so, to stop with the left and right BS and to focus on the people that actually hate us and rule over us at the same time. Scott writes, what is your view on the questioner on trans violence? The questioner on trans violence. Did you watch his remorse video? I was not convinced. I believe he had gone to other Charlie Kirk events. Also, the guy with long hair who cheered and said that he would explain later. It may all be a coincidence. It just seems too sloppy to be the Mossad. Guy is too crazy. I'm not sure who you are speaking about, but I will just say this overarching. I haven't presented a theory as to who was involved. My theory is that we are not being told the truth, and I think that there were multiple people that were involved, including George Zinn. That's my overarching theory at the moment.
Zimmerman might
George
have been.
Zinn with this decoy thing that makes entirely no sense to me, and it will make sense if there's more people that are involved. True. So I believe that Tyler Robinson played a part. I don't know which part he played. Curious Nat writes, pray this gets used wisely. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Nat writes, they messed with the wrong best friend. You'd think that they would learn. Thank you, Candace, for changing my life 5 to 6 years ago. Christ is king. Indeed, Christ is king and Christ is truth. And we are going to get to the truth. Wow. By the way, also, that is a really huge donation. So thank you, Nat, for that. And also to other people that have gone onto our website and bought a hat or a t-shirt. That has been amazing to support us, because that's it. That's who I am funded by. That is the big, you know, they say I'm funded by Qatar and Saudi Arabia. I mean, they make up things every week. I'm literally funded by the people that are watching this right now. You guys, when you buy gear, when you sign up, if you're a part of my book club, that's who funds me. It is the people.
Is this real? Singer David face palms during failed backflip. Holy shit.
JJ Bullard writes, if you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Amen. Alan Paulson writes, thank God for you, Candace. I really am grateful for your shining a light on this federal corruption.
What to
I
read
pray for
here?
justice for Charlie. I too. I pray for it and I work every day toward it. And like I said, there's nobody that has the capacity to get me to shut up about this except for Erica Kirk and my husband. So don't plead to his pastor. Don't plead to people that work at Turning Point, many of them who have been coming forward and saying something weird is going on. And I'm trying to figure out how to present that to the public. If you want to make a plea, those are the only people that I will answer to. And I've got a feeling that, Erica Kirk has been, you could see the energy. She's going to fight. She's going to fight, and she is going to fight on the good side.
She was about to, dude, please let her not fight on the good side just so there can be a fucking cat fight. Please let her say, Candace, let his body rest.
Because every woman would know what her husband's going through. So I can't even imagine what it feels like experiencing this tragedy, having to come to terms with this tragedy. And then on top of it, having people that are outwardly lying. It's too much. It's too much. So we are going to stay on it, and I'm grateful to you guys for being on this journey.
Candace crash out.
We have even been able to put together is in large part thanks to you guys that are reaching out. We will stay on it.
Erica Kirk, aka Eric Trogno.
We'll see you tomorrow.